Evening all. So what we're going to do today, well, we're going to look at how to set up a Corp battle. So it's a quick video today, but it's something I've been asked a huge amount of times to actually just show. So here we go. You come to the corporation contract screen. Now this is pretty much, you know, your first point of call, and what you want to do is you have to set up an alt corp first. So you basically have to have a corp with maybe a couple of the squad leaders in who are going to invite main people from the main corp. So basically your alt corp now looks for the contract. Best thing to do is always do it for the lowest value, which is 100,000 ISK. You can't go any lower than that, but I probably wouldn't recommend you go any higher because, to be honest, you just want to have it's not about the ISK, is it, right? So what you need to do is you need to first go through the various screens. You need to use the square button also to find a battle that's suitable to you. While you're doing this, you need to have your colleagues in your main corp ready to accept the contract as it goes up. So as this is happening, that's happening now. So what I do is I come into my battle screen and I just make sure, in this case, Josh has accepted the contract. So I go to Corporation Battle, and there we go. So I see that that's worked perfectly well, the Unholy Legion of Darkstar, and they're fighting this alt corp. Now remember, what's going to happen is the squad leaders, there's only 2 squad leaders in this alt corp, and they'll invite everybody from the Unholy Legion. So that's how you basically get an internal battle. That it's an inelegant way to do it, but it works very well because obviously you can just have internal corp battles pretty much easily. It does put the squad leaders at a bit of a disadvantage because their mains are not really fighting. So in this case, I'm using my alt, and it's not particularly good alt. But hey ho, this is what it's about. Now, we want to do here is we generally run 2 in a row, and I think I'd recommend that because, or maybe even 3 in a row, so that way different people can join. So what we do here is we go then further, we press the square button, and we can then look forward about half an hour into the future after that first court battle, because sometimes court battles will take that long. And then we look for the contract that suits our needs, and in this case I think well, I can't remember, well, it's one of these, but you know, you look for basically the match that's most appropriate. Then you agree with your you know, your buddies in your main corp that you're about to do a second one, and then you accept it. Once you accept it, then it will go into the roster as number 2. So you'll see that in just a moment here. So going again to the corporation tab. So there we go. So we've got 2 corp battles. In this case, that's quite close to each other, but I guess it'll have to do. But you know, I would recommend at least half an hour difference between them. And this is something, again, you can just build and, you know, have a whole list of corp battles, you know, and they're all private as well. So once they've been accepted, they disappear from the roster as well. So that's pretty much it, and I think, you know, I highly would recommend you do this, but I would say, you know, there's always going to be the issue of the alt corp. In our case, the alt corp is myself and Nano, and we then suffer because we've got our rubbish characters in here. But again, you know, it's not a bad idea because you can use alts. You can just create a fresh alt, maybe make some quick fits. You've got obviously your free skill points when you start, and maybe just see what you want to test with. So we've had people testing lasers, we've had people testing mass drivers and all that good stuff. So you're not at a major disadvantage. Plus, I would say with court battles, you shouldn't be looking to tear your opponent's nuts off anyway, because, well, it's a court battle. It should be more of a friendly. But you know, I think you know, it's difficult to say don't use your best fits, but I would say, you know, we say to the court, don't go crazy here, because if you throw away millions of ISK in an internal court battle, that means you're at a disadvantage when you have a major battle come. The reason we run them obviously is a planetary conquest, which is fast approaching. So I think this is something that I would heartily recommend that everybody becomes comfortable with. And as you can see, this is my shit fit character. It's got very, very low low skill point fits, but again, it's not necessarily always the fit that makes the man. It's sometimes the skill. But there we go. So I think in terms of court battles, I think you know, that's the basics of it. You know, I think if you've got maybe a good afternoon of say 20-30 people online, they're a highly effective thing to run. Otherwise, people are just running skirmish and ambush, which is fine, but sometimes it always does the corp good to have a bit of a fight against each other. Maybe the next video we'll do one which is how to deal with the aftermath of court battles, because sometimes they do turn a bit ugly, but maybe we'll look at that another time. I think in terms of tactics, though, that's certainly a good one to do. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll do some more of these. I think the tricky thing around this is how to prepare for planetary conquest. Maybe we'll look at that in a bit more depth in the next video as well. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.